All right, so in the previous video, we went ahead and got the numbers 1 through 10 going down our screen, and we typed the answer 55 after adding 1 through 10 here in our head, right? So I'm gonna go and zoom in here. And this time around, we talked about how this is a calculator. So it should be able to make calculations, right? Now, normally when you write calculations, I'm just gonna go off over here and I'm gonna write, you would write 1 plus 1 equals 2. Right? And you tend to put the equal sign at the end because you want to see all the addends and all the different, pieces of the function first, and then what it actually results in at the end, because that's the end result. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to move that equation or that equal sign to the beginning of the equation. And we're going to say equal to 1 plus 1. The reason we're going to bring the equal sign to the beginning is because we're saying that this cell that I'm clicked in, the current cell that I'm clicked in, is equal to those values or equal to the result of those values. So in this case, the cell I'm clicked in is G3. G3 is at the beginning. It's expected. It's known. So this is how Excel functions. It's saying G3, the cell G3 is equal to 1 plus 1. So that's why we put the equal sign at the beginning. So actually, if I hit enter here, you'll see that it will give me the result of 2 because G3 is now equal to 1 plus 1. So if I click on this 2, you can see that I have that function up in the formula bar. It still exists. And if I double click on it, this doesn't show the number 2. It actually shows the equation, but the cell is showing the result once I'm outside the editing mode. So we put our equation or our equal sign at the beginning of the equation, so that way we can say this cell is equal to this. So I'm going to go and delete this. And down here, what we're going to do is we're going to, in cell B11, make an equation to type this out. So we're going to go equal sign, and we're going to go 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. And you're going to end with the number 10 and no plus sign at the end. Okay, so if you need to, pause the video here, get your whole equation in, so that way you can see that this is equal to all of this. Okay, once you have your equation in, you can hit enter, shift, tab, just regular tab, you can hit the check mark, whatever it is, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit tab because I'm gonna pop to the right, and you're gonna see that my answer will be 55, because that's all of them added together. And if I double click on this, the equation is still there. It's still up in my formula bar, but the result is what I'm seeing when I'm inside the spreadsheet in its full mode, because it's a calculator, right? I want to see the result. I don't want to see the addition, okay? And what's nice about Excel is you don't have to show your work, okay? It's all in the background there. It all gets stored, so it won't disappear, and you could look at it at any time. Okay, so that was fine and dandy, like typing those numbers in. But that's pretty inefficient because the numbers are already typed, right? Like if you think about it, these numbers already exist here. So what I want to do is I want to bring in these numbers in column C to this equation. So I'm going to begin again with an equal sign saying C11 is equal to this. Instead of typing the number 1 again inside my equation, I'm going to go click on the number 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign. So I clicked on cell C1 where the 1 is, and then I'm going to go click on C2. So what's happening is when I'm done with this equation, it's going to go up to cell C1. Excel is going to go up to cell C1, grab whatever values in it, bring it down to the equation, and then add it to whatever values in cell C2. And then I can keep going through, and you'll see it'll kind of make a rainbow because it's showing you the different cells that you've selected. And like right now, I can't select C10, but I could, because the cell is being blocked by the equation, but I could type the letter C and the number 10, and it will select C10 too because I'm inside this equation. So you can see here that I've been able to add all of those together, and they're kind of like variables if you think about it, right? Because Excel is using the cell C1 as a variable to go find whatever values in there and bring it down. Okay, pause the video here if you need to get this whole equation in, but I've got all the cells selected. I typed C10 at the end, so you can type them in, you can click on them, whichever one you want to use, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit tab to go ahead and accept that equation, or the check mark, or whatever. Okay, so I've got the number 55 3 times. The first time around, we typed it. If I look up in the formula bar, you can see it's 55. Here, I have an equation where I typed in the values. Here, I have an equation where I actually selected these cells up here. And then there's a quicker way. Like you would think Excel could add, right? So I want you to pause the video here and see if you can get it to add these together all together using a Excel function. So there's basic Excel functions on the Home tab because the Home tab is our basic tab that we all use. And Excel probably would want to use functions pretty easily. Like most users would want to use those, right? Over here in the editing group, you have a little E symbol that is your sum function. And if you hit this drop-down menu, you can see that we have sum, average, count numbers, min, max. Those are the basic 5 functions that everybody uses inside Excel. We're going to go ahead and sum because sum is to add, right? It's the result of adding. So I'm going to hit sum. I'm clicked in cell D10 here, and you'll see that it'll put in this equation. It'll begin the equation with an equal sign saying D11 is equal to this. It's going to say, I want to sum up whatever's inside these parentheses, okay? And you can see that by default, it went D1 colon D10. Now, D1 means it's going to go to cell D1, colon means through D10. So it's grabbing all the cells, and you can see it doing that automatically. And I can hit enter, and it will give me the number 55. In the next video, we're going to talk about how that actually works and kind of explore it a little bit more.